Check 1, 2. The guys at that software, even you are here. I'm supposed to teach. You're supposed to know where the university is. That is not my work. Somebody has been employed for that. So you are working. Get the point. Yes, so that we will now do this efficient. Don't have much money. So this is the side that
still they say they still what they are for number. They say those who are still funding previously
I will see whether we can be allowed to do that. If we have, I think we have space.
as long as
Thank you.
One, two, testing.
The people who without seats, there are some seats in front here. Anybody without a seat, kindly, we have some vacant seats in front. Yeah, as we start our function today, I'm kindly requesting all those standing at the back there, we have some seats here, kindly let us be seated. We have enough seats for everyone. So at this particular time, I want now to invite Director Lice to take over.
Good morning, everyone. So let us all remain upstanding for the national anthem. Thank you. As we still remain upstanding, I will invite Ms. Ann Kimathi to lead us in a word of prayer before we start the program.
because you have allowed us to be living at this particular point in time. Father, we recognize that it is you who books people time and space in history. And this particular point you have booked for us to be here, at this particular point, discharging your duties, my Father. Father, we want to thank you for this great university. And we want to thank you, Lord, for that which has been prepared in this conference. Indeed, we wave before you creations of our minds, the minds that you yourself has created. And so we thank you, my Father, for all the exhibitions and all the presentations in this conference. We thank you, Lord, even for gathering people from all over the world to come and celebrate your doing, to come and celebrate the great things that you're doing at Meru University of Science and Technology. Father, we want to thank you for the visitors that have showed up for this conference, and we want to thank you for the millions that are watching as it is streamed live. Father, how we pray that you're going to be with us through this conference, that as we listen to great groundbreaking theories, as we listen to new things that have been produced, we will be able to assimilate them, that we will be able to come up with insights of pushing them to a greater level. Be with us throughout this conference, my Father, and at the end of the day, we will give you glory, we will give you honor. We pray this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
So thank This conference this year, we've had sponsors who have come to help us or assist us. This includes the National Research Fund, the Pan-African Climate Justice PACJA, and Meru Slopes. Our keynote speaker in this conference is our PS, Dr. Beatrice Muganda Inyangala, and we welcome you very much. So for this conference, we have gathered quite a number of guest speakers from far and wide in the world. And just to mention some of them, we have Pieter Bowman from the University of Haas in Netherlands. We have Prof. Gerono from North Carolina State University. We have Cornelius Kiplagat from Max Global. We have Dr. Ioannis Siporidis, a renewable energy consultant from Greece. We have Dr. Evi Visa from the University of West Scotland. We have Dr. Benjamin Kwasi-Adom from the Commonwealth in the UK. We have Prof. Mary Abukusa, DVC at JKUAT. We have Professor Shashank Bishnoi from the Institute of Technology in India, Delhi. We have Dr. Monica Maishomo, who is physically present with us. She's a director at Calro. We have Dr. Jessica Gitaka from Mount Kenya University. We have Dr. Takeshi Kurokura from Japan, Usunomiya University. We have Dr. Matthew Guren, Ambassador to France. He did his presentation in our pre-conference yesterday. We have Professor Muthoni Masinde from Central University of Technology, Free State, South Africa. We have Dr. Tonio Mwanza, the CEO of Kenya National Innovation Agency. We have Midhika Mwenda, the CEO of PACJA. He's present with us here physically. We have Dr. Laban Ayiro, the VC, Daystar. We have Simone Anderson, a project manager from Sweden. We have Sarah Johnson from Stanford, USA, CEO Revivo in Kenya. We have Professor Noni MacDonald from Dalhousie University in Canada. We have Professor Roberto Bartolucci He's also a professor from Dalhousie, Canada. We have Professor Mugendi, who is the acting DVC Machakos. We have Professor Victoria Woolsin, who is from the University of Cincinnati, USA. And we also have Professor Caroline Corbier, who is a visiting professor from the Mississippi State University, and she's physically present with us. So as you can see, we've gathered quite a big number of guest speakers just to spice our conference this year. And we want to assure you that this conference is more robust than the last one, which was our inaugural. This is our second, and we will be doing this annually. So without taking a lot of time, I want now to invite Dr. Karanja, who is our registrar, to take over the program. And as he does that, I just want to recognize members of my organizing committee. And my name is Dr. Amos Omamo. I'm the Director, Research, Innovation, Commercialization, and Extension at the university. And I was working with a big team. I just want them to stand and wave. The organizing committee, please, wherever you are. So thank you very much. This is a gallant group of male and women who have made this possible. So thank you very much, Dr. Karanja.
Thank you, our Director, Research. Our guest today, the PS, the Chair of Council, our VC, the DVCs, invited guests, our Dean, a very big group of our staff and students. Good morning. I think this is an exciting moment because when we talk about a university, it cannot be complete without such an event. In fact, apart from graduation, the other greatest event, even bigger than graduation, is the conference. And today, we are here for our second Meru University of Science and Technology International Conference. I truly, truly want to thank everyone for availing yourself. Our guest of honor, just to introduce Meru University and a bit of the philosophy behind this international conference, I want to invite our director in charge of quality assurance and career services, to make a short presentation that will convey the message behind the philosophy of this international conference. Director, karibu.
Sorry, it looks like there's a technical hitch. Thank you. Just to begin with, this is a presentation outline, the history of MUST, Kenya in brief, agricultural production in Kenya, touristic sites, a glimpse of memorable moments in Kenya, our Kenyan culture, and we'll end with a welcome lyric to Kenya. Our historical background: Meru University of Science and Technology dates back in the 1960s when the Jori Ncheke, that is a council of elders of the Meru people, conceived an idea of establishing a university, an institution of higher learning in Meru. In fact, they said they wanted to establish a Makerere in Meru. And the university sits on 540 acres of land donated by the Council of Elders, established through a legal notice of 8th July 2008, and it was a constituent college of JKUAT, Kenya, and a wanted charter on 1st of March 2013. And this is a very memorable photograph of the day when the university was awarded the charter, 10 years down the line. Very memorable. You can see the instruments of power, and yeah, we have the maize, we have the logo. And it's also memorable for me. I think I was the nearest to the father of nations, the late His Excellency Mwai Kibaki, and quite memorable indeed. Our historical background, briefly, this starting University of London, Makerere University of Nairobi, KU, and our mother, JKUAT. Then we went Mekotech, which became MUKUST, Meru University College of Science and Technology, and then the Meru University of Science and Technology. Geographically, we are located at the center of the country and on the slopes of Mount Kenya. On a very bright day, you'll see the mountain just behind the administration block 1. This is our master plan, university master plan. We have the gate around here. This is a proposed airstrip. We have the forest here, and just to show you how beautiful our environment that surrounds us is that this forest is a home to the many elephants in the eastern region. And on a lucky day, you'll find a herd of elephants just along the road. Our vision and mission of the university, our vision is a world-class university of excellence in science and technology. Our mission is to provide quality university education, training, research in science, technology, and innovation. And our core values are competitiveness, innovation, integrity, professionalism, and quality. These are the schools. At most, we have 8 schools: agriculture and food science, business and economics, computing and informatics, engineering and architecture, education, health science, nursing, pure and applied sciences. And these are our contacts. You might also find them in your program. Now, just a bit of Kenya in brief. Kenya is located on the equator, and this is our Kenyan flag with the 4 colors, the 3 main colors: black representing the people of Kenya, and green, our Kenya's natural resources, and the red, which represents the bloodshed in the struggle for independence. Then the white strips is the peace and the unity. The shield and the cross spheres represent the defense for freedom. Kenya is in East Africa, lies along the Indian Ocean, bordering Somalia, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Tanzania. And it has 47 counties as units of devolved government. Our Kenya's education system started with the 7423, then the 844, and now we have the 2633, the competency-based curriculum introduced in 2017. And to bring you to Kenya, from the world to Kenya, and again from Kenya to the world, we have the pride of Africa, the Kenya Airways, that will bring you from wherever and take you back safely. And just a quick look at how our pilots are doing it. We have the KQ pilot Ruth Karauri, who skillfully landed KQ B787 at Heathrow Airport last year, February 2022, amid Storm Eunice, which was ranging Europe. And you'll see that amidst that storm, she skillfully and amazingly landed the Kenya Airways plane at Heathrow Airport. Amazing landing there. And again, we say that what men can do, women can do it even better. Amazing landing. Our cities of the country, we have Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nakuru as the latest city. Agricultural production. Agriculture dominates the Kenyan economy. We have main food crops: the maize, wheat, legumes, potatoes, millet, cassava, bananas, and then we have the cash crops: the tea, coffee, sisal, wheat, pyrethrum, cotton, and others. Now, tourism is the second largest source of foreign exchange revenue following agriculture, and we have a plenty to offer in terms of tourism. Our climate is mostly pleasant, weather condition all year round. In fact, we have a summer season throughout the year. We can liken it to the summer. Wildlife in Kenya, the big five, the buffalo, elephant, lion, rhino, and leopard. These were considered as the big five because the early big game hunters considered them most difficult and dangerous animals to hunt on foot. And we have a spectacular, one of the 7 wonders, the wild beast migration, that will give you a range of emotions, anticipation, heartache, inspiration, and excitement as those animals cross from the Masai Mara to the Serengeti. And again, they cross from Serengeti to the Masai Mara. Conceived in Kenya, born in Tanzania. Amazing. And we welcome you to Kenya to come and experience this one of the 7 new wonders of the world. Our currency celebrates wildlife. If you have some coins with you, you'll see that the 1 shilling has the giraffe, 5 shilling has the rhino, the 10 shilling has the lion, and the 20 shilling has the elephant. And this is our Kenyan currency in notes as they were displayed during the launch. We have memorable moments. INEOS 159. I know that you all remember this. I believe no human is limited. And most recently, we celebrate our superstar, Faith Kipyegon. 2 world records in a week. I told you what men can do. Women can do even better. Look at that. Yes. Our Kenyan culture and cuisine, we have about 42 ethnic communities. The largest is the Bantus. There's no singular dish that represents all of Kenyan's wide cuisine. Our different communities have their own language, distinct languages, dressing, music, and native foods. And we say that diversity is our strength and unity is our power. Now, the Ministry of Education has come up with a program that is music drama festivals, and this is to nurture artistic talents in music and drama and promote culture as one of the goals of education, as well as promote core curriculum activities within the schools, the colleges, the universities, programs. It provides a platform for pupils and students to express their cultural activities. I'll sample just a few communities and show you their culture and their dance. The Maasai, most iconic symbol of the Kenyan culture, they are nomadic people who stick to their traditional way of handling livestock. And just a bit of the Maasai traditional dance here. Narasura Secondary School from Narok County, presenting a Maasai dance. Very creative. The Luya, they are people who grow various cash crops, including the sugarcane, and bullfighting is an iconic sport in the tribe. And an Isukuti dance by the Miangeni International Academy. Here we go. Talented young children, and they're expressing the music and dance in the school. Na ikibamba sana wapi ndugu? The Kisi, well known for soapstone carvings, pottery, and basketry, they have excelled in varied commercial activities They grow crops such as coffee, bananas, pyrethrum, and tea. And here we have our students presenting a Kisi, traditional dance in Masai Mara University. So we all around, we not only carry out research, but we also express our culture through music and dance. Great talent by our students. Then we have the Kikuyu. The tribe resides in the central highlands of Mount Kenya that are good for production of coffee and tea. And here we have a dance by the Kikuyu, by the Mount Kenya University, presenting a Kikuyu traditional dance. Great talent there. Then we have the Meru, where the university is located. They are primarily agrarians practicing crop farming and controlled animal rearing. And we have a Kimeru traditional dance from Dagoni girls. Amazing expression of talent by our students in various schools. Then we have the Orma. Orma are the semi-nomadic. They are well known for their tall, slender, physique features. Meat is their main food that is supplemented with milk and blood. And you can see a bride from the Orma community here on the right, and a traditional dance from the Orma community. Very talented students in expressing the Orma culture in a dance. Then we have the Luo. They grow crops like sugarcane and cotton, and they are also skilled fishermen. And next year, I want to show you a Luo dance during the launch of the Talanta Hela initiative, taking you all the way to State House. And the president could not just sit. He stood and danced. Just watch. And the stage got filled, and they came. The president danced, appreciating our artists. And now I call upon all the patriotic Kenyans to welcome our visitors through a song, Hakuna Matata. patriotic citizens, we welcome our visitors.
Jambo, jambo bwana,
Habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa. Kenya yetu hakuna matata.
jambo,
Jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa. Kenya yetu hakuna matata.
Kenya nchi nzuri,
Hakuna matata.
nchi ya
Kupendeza, hakuna matata. Nchi yenye amani, hakuna matata. Nchi ya upendo, hakuna matata.
jambo.
Thank you very much and wish to thank all of you. Thank you. Welcome to Meru University. Welcome to Kenya. Thank you.
Yeah, let us give our director a better clap as she sits. Thank you, thank you. Very, very good presentation. So our guest of honor at this time now, I want to hand over the microphone to our DVC in charge of academic and student affairs to take us through the next part of this.
Good morning. Good morning again. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and I want to start the program, to continue the program, with just a round of introductions, our chief guests. My name is Professor Simon Duranera. I'm the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academics and student affairs. At this juncture, I want to welcome the DVC in charge of administration, finance and planning to make remarks and introduce the non-teaching staff, and then I'll introduce the teaching staff and the students. Professor Ishuki Henry.
Madam PS and Madam Chair Council, Vice Chancellor, Management Board, guests, staff and students, good morning. It's my pleasure to just say thank you for attending. Karibuni sana Meru University, because this is our home. As an administrator, we are hosting you and we are extremely joyful to have you here and to host you. I would like the administrative staff, wherever you are, please stand up. Anybody that's in administration, anybody that's in support services, I can see the health team there, the security team there, ICT team there, management, people who manage departments. You don't teach, but you do the background work. We appreciate you. Can you wave at the participants? I cannot say all their names. I'll take so much time, and I do not want to do that. So I want to end there. Thank you very much.
Let's appreciate Professor Agishoke. May I now introduce teaching staff? Kindly, wherever you are, can you stand up? Our teaching staff. Madam PS, that's our teaching staff with the 8 schools. I will not introduce all of them, but allow me to introduce the deans who are in. Kindly, the rest of the staff, can you sit down? Kindly. The deans who are in, At the extreme end is Kerose, representing the Dean School of Engineering and Architecture, is Job Kerose. Next to him is Dr. Shano Mohammed, the Dean School of Business and Economics. Next is Dr. John Doita, the Dean School of Agriculture and Food Science. This is Dr. Mutua Makau, the Dean School of Computing and Informatics. Dr. Njate Hibwado, the Dean School of Education. Gervas Mereti, the Dean School of Health Sciences. Last but not least, Millicent Kapigen, representing the Dean School of Nursing, and Dr. Mary Joy. Those are our deans present and our schools. Now, we have also students, Madam Chief Guests. We have, let's have all the postgraduate students. Can you stand up, please? Postgraduate students who are present. Chief guests, these students, and a great day yesterday with them here, they did their presentations. Let's appreciate them. Thank you very much. You can sit down. We have 2 programs which are present in the university this time. We have clinical medicine, but I saw a few students from nursing. Do you have the nursing students here? Dr. Karanja, nursing students, can you stand up kindly if you are in? Yes. Let's appreciate our nursing students. You are doing a great job. Thank you very much. Chief guests, we have our sponsors. We have the executive director of PACJA with us. Dr. Musalendo is here. You can wave. I know you will have a chance after the chief guest makes a presentation. Dr. Musalendo will be talking to us about, I know his pet topic is about climate change. PACJA is Pan-African Climate Justice Association, and you'll be speaking to us. Dr. I don't know whether NRF, they have any representation from NRF? They are also our sponsors. I want to appreciate them in absentia. Let's give a clap, a hand. We have also Meru Slopes Hotel. Do we have any representation from Meru Slopes Hotel? I want to appreciate them in absentia. Let's give a clap to Meru Slopes. We have discussed with them for our guests to have a special rate for our guests who will be spending over in one of the best hotels in Meru CBD, Meru Town. Madam Chief Guests, at this juncture, because of time, allow me now to welcome our Vice Chancellor, Professor Romanas Odhiambo, to make a speech and then invite the Chair of Council, Karibu sana Visi.
Thank you, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs. Our chief guest, Dr. Beatrice Muganda Nyangala, who is our Principal Secretary, State Department for Higher Education and Research, Ministry of Education. Our guest speakers who are present here, and our Chairperson of Council, who is also present with us, Dr. Jane Wangui Kiangai, the members of the Meru University of Science and Technology Council, all our colleagues, our friend, Dr. Musalendo is here. Really appreciate your presence. Many friends. There's a friend of mine from University of Dodoma. I don't know whether he's still around. Thank you very much. Very proud of you for supporting us as part of East African community. And many of you, I can't call all your names. The Meru University of Science and Technology Management Board, we are just a team of 6, I think, and I'm very proud of you, Gichuki, Thuranira, and all the others. the senators who are here, the representatives from NRF, Pan-African Climate Justice, that is PACJA, the distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning and karibuni Meru. We celebrate you. Thank you for really honoring us to be here. It is my utmost pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this beautiful city of Meru, Kenya, as we gather here today for the second international conference of Meru University of Science and Technology. We have assembled the whole world here. I think you have realized that if you check through the conference book, we have the whole world. We are being watched from all over part of the world. On the theme of this conferencing, leveraging interlinkages among the SDGs to realize the 2030 agenda through research and innovations in the post-COVID era. And this conference, ladies and gentlemen, does provide a crucial platform for intellectual exchange, collaborations, and exploration of innovative ideas that will shape our future. We live in a very dynamic world, climate change, food security, I mean, name it, things are really changing. And as a community of scholars in the whole world, we felt every year we need to assemble and just check what direction do we take. And this is one of the things we are going to do in this conference. Of course, in the wake of the global pandemic, our world has undergone immense challenges and transformation. The impact of COVID-19 has left no aspect of our lives untouched, reinforcing the need for research, innovation, and sustainable development to overcome the obstacles that lie ahead of us. As we come together in this unprecedented time, we must seize the opportunity to forge new pathways towards resilient and inclusive post-pandemic future. You know, those of you who are climate experts, there are new terms. It's like in agriculture, regenerative agriculture, nature inclusive agriculture, you know, whatever profession where you are, nature inclusive health systems, all these are new innovations, new emerging technologies in research and knowledges that we need to assemble and really shape what we are teaching our students, especially the postgraduate, what research we are doing. And I think when we assemble together in this conference, we are going to look at some of these things. Of course, this conference, we will delve into significant sub-themes that capture the breadth and depth of the challenges we face, from agriculture, food security, safety and biosecurity, to business, economy and safety, society. We will explore the intricate interplay between the human well-being and environmental sustainability, climate change, within pressing demands for adaptations, mitigations, and resilience, which will take center stage as we seek innovative solutions to these challenges that are facing humankind. And to our partners, starting with the government, and that's why the PSES, we are really, really grateful. We are proud of the support that you have continued to give us. Where we stand here is 100% funded by the government, and we are very thankful. And then to our friends, the PACJA, the NRF, all of you, in a very significant way, you have made this a reality, and we really appreciate you for that. The role of disruptive technologies in shaping circular economy cannot be understated. And this is one of the great sub-themes. Those of you who do research, write research proposals like me and you know where money is, where dollars are, where euro is. It's actually on these kind of things. And one of the themes that we have is actually talking about this. And we do this to inspire our postgraduate students here, those who are doing PhD and doing research, to inspire our faculties, the professors who are mentoring them, that there are opportunities. Once we come together, we can actually see separate the state of the knowledge that we have and what we have discovered and disseminate it to the people, but also open other pathways for future research. And that's why we are here at the whole world. Just don't look at here, we are being watched everywhere, the whole world. And we're really to discuss this. Water, sanitation, and hygiene along the sustainable development goals from the backbone of our collective aspiration for a better world. As a Kenyan government, you know, for a long time we have not even have directorate of sanitation. But we thank God the route of presidency right now has actually made this a reality. But when we were trying to look at the courses we offered, you saw our eight schools. There was nothing about something serious about sanitation. We have created a sustainable research institute, basically to address that gap that we have as a country. And there's a lot of future in that. And that's why I think, Madam PS, we, in the last 2-3 years, I think we have trained almost 70 to 100 postgraduate students at master's level in sanitation, basically to come and help save that gap. So sanitation is a very serious theme that we have here. I would like to therefore urge all of us to embrace research agenda. In this university, we talk of RISE agenda: research, innovation, commercialization, and extension. Extension is basically, really, whatever we do must reach the community. And that's why the Council has insisted that all of us must participate in this RISE agenda. And Madam PS, I really want to thank the DVC Academic through the Director of RISE and all of you for making this a reality. The future is RISE. And even as universities, when we talk about governance, Madam PS, I think one of the very critical division that need to be strengthened through our government is actually RISE division. Because through that, would be able to really strengthen the academic pursuit, academic research, discovering new knowledge, but in the same way creating a pathway for infusing and bringing in other sources of fund. So that's something I think as a country and as a ministry we need really to support. It's unfortunate that as a country, sorry as the PS, I'm talking a bit tough on this, as a country we do not have money put aside for postgraduate research. Universities world over. As a professor, I basically dream. But the implementation, just like the Bible says, is actually done by the students. And so we need to have some strategic ways in which we can put money also for postgraduate, for research. And I think with your leadership, what you have seen the last almost 6 months you have been there, I think we'll support this. May God bless you as you think about it. So let us embrace research agenda. It is our duty to give our students the best guidance so that they become great researchers. We can take a leaf from the global trend where members of the academia enhance the capacities of their learners through leading by example. And so, my professors, my teachers, you are the priests of the universities. We have our peers at the higher level there, but in the universities are only as good as their professors. When you take part in research, when you go to class, you teach knowledge, and then you are able to tell people that there's still an opening here. But if you don't do research, you cannot do it. But I'm happy. The last 2 years, 3 years, I've seen what we are doing. We are on the right path, and keep it up, keep it up. And in conclusion, I would like to extend the deep gratitude to all the organizers, sponsors, and partners who have worked tirelessly to make this event a reality. Your unwavering commitment to research, innovations, commercialization, and extension, together with sustainable development, is an inspiration to us all. I remember the chief executive of PACJA, when we talked with him about this conference, he says, I'll show up, I'll even support you. Daktari, we are very proud of you. Thank you very much. And many, many more. My friend Paul, I just met you about 1 month, and you are here just to come and make this a reality. And Dr. Caroline Kobia from Mississippi State University, we are meeting for the first time It's just great. Academics about globalization. Academics about creating a community that can work together to solve global problems, and us interacting. And that's why we are all here. And all of you, we are very proud of you. Our future depends on that mutual support that I've seen the last 2 years when we have had conference. So I also extend my warmest welcome to our distinguished guests and speakers. Our chief guests, you have realized that we have assembled key speakers from all over the world, all over. And this is really humbling for a young university that is just learning to walk 10 years. We have our challenges, and Madam PS, you know it, and our chair knows it. But a home with no challenges is not a home. It is through those challenges that we create resilience. Is it not so? It's through those challenges that we learn how to wade against the issues that we may have. And I've seen this in Meru University the last 5 years I've been here. The future ni nzuri, mbele ni sawa. That I can assure you. So I salute you guys, salute all of you, I salute our chief guest today, and everybody that has participated in this. So may this conference be a catalyst for transformative ideas, fruitful collaborations, and lasting impact as we leverage interlinkages among the SDGs to realize the 2020 agenda. Together, let us embark on this journey of explorations, innovations, and progress in the post-COVID era. Thank you very much, and I wish you all successful and enriching conference ahead. May God bless you, and thank you very much. Can we put our hands together as I welcome my boss and the chair of council, Dr. Jane, to come and make a few remarks and then invite our chief guest. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you. Our chief guest, PS, Dr. Beatrice, PS, State Department of Higher Education, our Vice Chancellor and Deputy Vice Chancellors, all distinguished speakers and guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I hope it's still morning. It is, eh? Good morning. Well, I think for me, on my own behalf and on behalf of the entire council, I'm really delighted to be here this morning to build on the strength that we found in this university. And let me start by welcoming you on behalf of the council to this it's a young initiative, but you can begin to see where we're headed with this international conference. I like the name you've given it, MASTEC, very, very authentic, and it really speaks to the core of agenda. So let me welcome you, and we are delighted that you, for those who are here and those that are online, welcome very much to Meru University. I'm sure from the tour, the virtual tour were given by the director, you can tell you are right at the heart of Kenya. You're right in the middle of Kenya, and I think that's something to be proud of. Almost right on the equator, not quite there, but you're at the heartbeat of this country. Karibuni sana. Let me start also by thanking the government through UPS. Lily, I want to confirm that there's total commitment to supporting the work that universities are doing. And you recall a few days ago, you launched the new model of financing universities. For those that followed that whole new approach, that transition, you can actually tell the government really knows that the future of the problems, the global problems you are currently facing, is in science and technology. That new model, the kind of financing that we're going to see in science, technology, universities, it's really a confirmation that the problems of climate change, the problems of pandemics, the problems of global warming, all the problems you are currently experiencing are really going to be found through solutions of science and technology. We know a lot of, unemployment is a big issue, but we're only going to handle them through innovations and technology. And you remember the last graduation, actually, you remember last week there was a graduation. And I think the learning call to the graduates is that really there are no jobs for you. And you recall at the last graduation, my call to you was, if you can't find a job, find a problem. Find a problem to solve in society. And you really do not need to look for a job.
We know a lot of unemployment is a big issue. But we're only going to handle them through innovations and technology.
And that's why.
And you remember the last
from
graduation.
University of Science and
Actually,
Technology
you remember
never
last week there was a graduation.
Really my call
and I
to
think
you.
the learning
and
call
the
to the graduates is that really there are no jobs for you.
Where you come up with
and you recall at the last graduation, my call to you was, if you can't find a job, find a problem.
And
find a problem to solve in society. And you really do not need to look for a job. We know a lot of unemployment is a big issue.
We really do appreciate where the government
through innovations and technology
is pressing the universities of science and technology. Very, very important. And I think it's upon us, those that are on the ground, to take advantage and learn with this support from the government. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference serves as a testament to a university's unwavering commitment to advancing knowledge, driving innovation, and contributing to sustainable development goals. And I like the fact that this particular conference is themed around sustainable development goals, and we already have 7 years. 7 years left to 2030. It seemed like very many years out there, but 7 years is a very short time. So we really need to be in a hurry to achieve, particularly localizing the SDGs. That's really what's going to be impactful. That even as we hold these conferences, we must really see those as very local problems and find local solutions through science and technology. I believe that in the transformative power of research, and I recognize the critical role that universities play in fostering an environment that promotes cutting-edge research. Meru University of Science and Technology is focused on creating a sustainable, equitable, and inclusive system of academic and research training. Research, in essence, is a cornerstone of progress. It is through research that we uncover new knowledge, challenge existing paradigms, develop innovative solutions to very complex problems. Meru University of Science and Technology has long been a champion of research excellence and has nurtured a culture that fosters curiosity, encourages interdisciplinary collaboration, and supports research in all stages in their careers. The university has invested in state-of-the-art laboratories, and PS, I hope one day you will come and we take you through our labs, then you can see the kind of investments we are talking about. Equipped our scholars with cutting-edge tools and established robust partnerships with industry and government. PS, I'm sure you have been to our innovation center and you've seen the kind of innovations that are going on there. That's really through industry contribution. And I want to confirm that we shall be, between the council and the university administration, we're proposing to have an investment conference where we can bring more funding on board. PS, we're aware, even with the new model, the government will really never have enough money against very many competing priorities to kind of mobilize the kind of funding that is required to turn this really into fully funded universities. So I want to really appeal to the researchers that as we bring investors, it is important that you have innovations to showcase that you bring our investors on board. Us as a council and administration, we can bring the people here, but the innovations that need to really then be taken up by investors can only come from yourselves. Our commitment to research goes beyond infrastructure and resources. It lies in our unwavering belief in the power of knowledge to drive positive change. It lies in our dedication to nurturing a research ecosystem that values intellectual freedom, encourages diversity of thought, and fosters a collaborative spirit. It lies in our commitment to training the next generation of researchers who will shape the future and contribute to the realization of the 2030 Agenda. As chairperson of the Council, I commit to uphold and strengthen our institution's research enterprise and advocate for increased investment in research, both internally, locally, and globally. Ladies and gentlemen, Meru University of Science and Technology is a home of excellence in research and technology. I want to invite you to take a minute and look through the university projects that we are currently learning. They offer a form of socioeconomic solutions aligned with the Vision 2030 and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The Council wishes to appreciate the MASTEC 2023 partners, the PACJA, the NRF for collaborating with us and to create a forum designed to harness the full potential of science and technology and all its benefits. In conclusion, I want to commend all the researchers gathered here today and those that are with us virtually, whose work represents the intellectual backbone of this university and the society at large. Your dedication, your curiosity, commitment to excellence drive the kind of progress that the world needs. I therefore call upon all of us and all of you to engage, educate, and encourage each other through the workshops, the discussions, the panels, and other sessions that are organized here today. I want to thank you very, very much. We looked forward a lot to this, and it's my joy to see this as a reality. And I want to say, as we end this, we begin to already plan for the next one. So PS, on behalf of the Council and the entire university fraternity, we really do appreciate you taking time to see exactly what you're doing, so that when we come back to you for funding, you know exactly where it is going. It is really not just an academic exercise. We're trying to look for solutions to global problems and Kenyan problems for the future. P.S. It's really my humble duty to welcome you to address the congregation. Karibu sana. Let's welcome the peers with a good clap. Thank you.
Chairman of the Council of Meru University of Science and Technology, Dr. Jen Wangui Kiringai, members of the Meru University of Science and Technology Council, the Vice Chancellor of Meru University of Science and Technology, Professor Romanos Odhiambo, Vice Chancellors and their representatives from our sister universities, here present and online, Meru University of Science and Technology Management Board, representatives from the National Research Fund, the NRF, who are participating online, and the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance with us here today, distinguished participants, staff, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning from Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, good morning from Meru. I think most of our guests know Nairobi and the city, so we are not too far from there. It is my honor and privilege to stand before you today as the chief guest of the second Meru University of Science and Technology International Conference. A nice name, is it not? MASTEC 2023. It sounds well, it rings well. I'm sure you are happy to be part of this. I extend my gratitude to the organizers for inviting me to address such an important gathering of researchers, scholars, and innovators from around the world. I'm truly amazed by your efforts in choosing a theme that is not only timely, but also crucial for our collective journey towards sustainable development. We do recognize that the problems that face us as a continent today are not siloed in disciplines or confined within our localities and countries, but they are truly interconnected. And therefore, when we look at the SDGs across, then we are able to attack these problems from all fronts. I therefore applaud the Meru University of Science and Technology community for acting as a catalyst for increased effort in research and innovation as a way of creating new opportunities and solving societal problems. I commend the National Research Fund for the fund's continued execution of the institution's mandate in facilitating research for the advancement of science and technology. This has greatly propelled our country globally in terms of research and innovation. The role of research in institutions of higher learning is critical. It is indeed the real driver for unearthing and pushing the frontiers of knowledge. It forms part of the mandate of universities, which include training, research, and community outreach. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this conference, leveraging interlinkages among SDGs to realize the 2030 agenda through research and innovation in the post-COVID-19 era, encapsulates the essence of our aspirations for a better future. It acknowledges the need for collaboration, innovation, and evidence-based solutions as we strive to navigate the challenges that were brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic while advancing United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This conference is therefore very important, not only to this institution, but to university education at large, nationally and internationally. This is because it is where information and knowledge gathered from research carried out here and elsewhere is disseminated. The importance of research, fellow members of academia, cannot be overemphasized because it's only through research that we are able to expand the existing knowledge in all spheres of life and in all disciplines. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I implore you to invest in strategic international linkages and collaborations to benefit learners and our country at large. There should be all effort invested in fostering partnerships with governments, industries, and communities for greater impact to socio-economic development. Partnership is a vital driver for not only research and innovation, but also capacity development, as well as internationalization. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage you to create strong and strategic industrial linkages and collaborations as well. It is imperative that faculties align their courses according to their relevance in the market. Through such collaborations, it is also possible to get research funding from industries as well as industrial attachments as we continuously pursue an agenda to make our education more relevant and to enhance its quality continuously. Research should there be development-oriented and tailored not only to benefit the community and the country, but to continuously grow the knowledge base that forms the domains of our disciplines. This output, therefore, from the research should be patentable and commercially oriented. And I'm very happy to see that Meru University staff and students are undertaking a lot of research that draws on our indigenous knowledge and our indigenous resources and really solving problems and building knowledge that then feeds in the global research ecosystem, because as a continent, we have something to offer. And the more we have to offer, the more we will attract international partners. Meru University of Science and Technology needs to develop policies that enhance the research ecosystem so as to support both short-term and long-term industry-friendly, society-responsive partnerships for research. it is worth noting that this great university is well prepared for global digitization. And so the whole conference, also organized in a blended mode, is helping us to reach far and wide and to work together with others across the continent. We need to upgrade this mission and strategy beyond research into all other spheres of the university operations, including knowledge transmission, as well as our outreach activities. We must become highly competitive through technology innovations and shift as many of our universities to the digital work zone. I therefore challenge you to work towards contributing to the digital transformation strategy for Africa, which aims to harness digital technologies and innovation to transform African societies and economies by 2030. This will be well aligned with the Kenya government's digital superhighway plan, which aims to put the country on the path of becoming the world's digital workforce. Entrepreneurship as well is very critical in this era, and entrepreneurship education important for empowering students in playing their role in their communities as a source of startups. Entrepreneurship education should contribute to building and boosting entrepreneurial ecosystems to revitalize micro, small, and medium enterprises in this economy. I urge you to enthusiastically tap into this field, which is our pillar in achieving the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And again, from all the research projects that you have been implementing in this university, and which I believe is the basis of what you are drawing on to connect internationally, we could see a lot of input and a foundation for the micro and small enterprises. And again, just to encourage you to reach out to private sector, to reach out to the Ministry of Trade, and our office is ready to hold your hand and help you create the right synergy that you need to move this research from the basic outputs towards commercialization. Because as a ministry, we are really supporting this as a means not only of promoting knowledge, but also creating and diversifying financial resources for our universities. The rationale of increasing the stimulus for obtaining global solutions towards the breakaway issues and challenges, ladies and gentlemen, for instance, this will include rising levels of radicalization, drugs and substance abuse, increasing levels of uncertainty, rapid climate change, and complexities. These uncertainties have lingered in the minds of the academia for long. And I'm glad that we are moving beyond just wondering and being perplexed by these complexities and social problems, but going out proactively to find solutions. In an effort to seek response to the foregoing, developed nations as well as emerging economies are consistently adopting more sustainable intervention measures which are anchored on appropriate education, which has the potential to sustain their economic development. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, sustainable development is a largely demanding concept which encompasses changes at the political, economic, social, educational, and environmental levels, among other levels of development. In view of this fact, sustainable development can be seen as a progressive search for a pathway for improving human daily lives while putting levels of negative environmental impacts at their minimum, and at the same time lowering ecological scarcities. Let me draw your attention to the competency-based education and training curriculum, which comes as a pathway for creation of an educational platform which will impart graduates with the necessary skills and competencies that will make them active, creative, cooperative, and capable of combining theoretical knowledge and innovative and practical ideas. The level of preparedness of institutions of higher learning in mainstreaming the CBET curriculum is to a large extent unexplored. And therefore, in the realm of the social sciences, this is another rich opportunity for research. It is paramount for Meru University of Science and Technology to embark on a move to play an enabling role in the implementation of CBET and to remain relevant in meeting new research, innovation, and technological challenges geared towards the attainment of a middle-level industrial status. And it goes without saying that the pedagogical revolution that we started must be pursued in earnest, because this is what will prepare us as universities to implement the CBET curriculum effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, to improve access to science, technology, engineering and technology programs, higher education has targeted to increase enrollment in set-related courses from 20% of total students to 60%. Even though the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service reviews university placement criteria yearly, they are not specifically placing students, as placement is based on students' choice, their qualifications, and availability of space. All the same, development of criteria for placing students from alternative pathways to government-sponsored programs is ongoing. And at this juncture, I think I also need to tell you that very soon, I think the President will be launching the Open University of Kenya. And this will be very important because we have students who, over the years, did not meet the qualifications, and so they were not admitted in the universities. This university will be open very flexibly for them. We also have students who might have pursued diploma courses or certificates and wish to acquire a higher education. So again, this opportunity will be there, and we are seeing this space as a space for enhancing technology, not only for that university, but for all other universities, so that all together we are really a hub for knowledge generation and for digital innovations. Ladies and gentlemen, it is therefore our vision to strengthen and expand open, distance, and e-learning in all universities. Consequently, guidelines on ODEL have been published and implemented. As with the other programs, there are many activities in these programs that are ongoing, including developing digital content for university programs and the establishment of the Open University of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, as I move to close, I just want us to reflect on our research agenda. As a ministry, we are increasingly investing resources in research because as a country, we need to drive our own research agenda. And we welcome these international partnerships because they are very important for exposing us to the new ways of doing things, new technologies, which we then tap in to manipulate what is within our environment to resolve our problems. And in mind, we know that we are now pursuing the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. So it is a great opportunity to harness what's coming from outside to help us do things differently so that we can achieve our goals and stimulate economic development, which we all need, so that we create the jobs or we get the right opportunities to create work for others. And within this atmosphere, what can we also contribute? Ask questions, keep asking questions, questions that help you to harness and use indigenous knowledge. For example, what is truly an African epistemology? And is this different from what is known globally? These are the questions we should be asking as we interact with colleagues and see how we can draw on what they know to build what we know. And as a government, we are interested in more than doubling our number of researchers. And towards this end, I am really, really grateful to the leadership of Meru University, our council, our VC, for the effort you have put in building the new generation of researchers. Can we give them a clap? We are coming from an era whereby researchers were very mean. They never really gave opportunities to young researchers. But in this university, your staff are working with our young researchers, giving them opportunities to gain knowledge and confidence. And this is what we need, so that incrementally, this whole story about theses being written for students will not be there, because our students will have the skills, the knowledge, and the confidence to do their own work. And this is what we need to enhance the quality of our research output and the number of citable documents from this continent. And as a government, of course, we need to draw on what you generate as universities for our policies, so that the policies that we develop address the issues that face you as individuals at home and in the universities. And so from this modest investment of this university, we are moving towards a situation whereby what we look at as impossible, wicked problems confronting us in our daily lives are actually opportunities for creating a constellation of possibilities for bettering our livelihoods and the livelihoods of the communities around us. And this, to me, is what our university truly stands for. And for a young university like Meru to be at this level, I am truly proud of you. Keep going. The sky is the limit. So I commend all researchers, scholars, and innovators who have gathered here to share their insights and experiences. Your contributions are invaluable in shaping a sustainable, resilient post-COVID era and will help us to build back better. As a ministry, I assure you of our commitment to continue supporting research institutions and uplift our communities and those supporting the advancement of economic and both nationally and global communities. Let us seize this opportunity to forge new partnerships, generate innovative ideas, and develop actionable solutions that will propel us towards a brighter, more inclusive, and sustainable future. Together, we can leverage the interlinkages among SDGs to realize the 2030 agenda, leveraging and leaving a lasting impact on generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to declare the second Meru University of Science and Technology International Conference officially open. Thank you all. I wish you a successful and fruitful conference. God bless you all. God bless Meru University of Science and Technology. Thank you.
To appreciate all our guest speakers who have come physically, and a small session for the VC and the guests for some donations before I invite the session chair to start properly. So I would invite the DVC to appreciate some of the guests who have come.
Thank you, Director. On behalf of the organizing committee, we want to recognize the following who have joined us here physically. We have the CEO of Max Global Group Limited, all the way from, based in Finland, Mr. Cornelius Kiplagat. You can stand and wave. That's Mr. Kiplagat. We also have Debbie, who works with the Methodist Church in Kenya, all the way from Florida, the USA. We also recognize the presence of a friend of this university, Honorable Erwaki, the former MP, Igembe North. And as I hand over this mic to the director, I wanted our guests to know that we have an international journal, that the proceedings of this conference will be published, and the editor-in-chief is right here, Professor Eric Moshiri. Finally, I wanted to invite guests to tour our exhibition. Downstairs, a lot of innovations from our young scholars and scientists during our break time. I now hand over the program to our director, Dr. Moma.
Thank you very much, Prof. There are a few more guest speakers who are here physically, and I think we need to appreciate them. Dr. Monica Maishomo, she's the Director of Veterinary Services at Calro. She will be one of our keynote speakers here. Dr. Mzalendo, he will be our keynote here. And Professor Kobia, please, from Mississippi State University. They are all with us here. So at this stage, I want to hand over to the session chair, Professor Moshiri, who will lead the session. And we are going to have our first presentation from Mzalendo, Dr. Mzalendo, on climate change. And then we are going to have Dr. Monica Maishomo among the presentations that we have lined up for this session. Professor Moshiri.
Thank you, Dr. Omano, the Director of Research and Innovation. My name is Professor Eric Mochiri. I'm from School of Earth Sciences. And first, let me welcome all our guests, including the PS, the Chair of the Council, to this session, which we're going to listen to two guest speakers. Dr. Mzalendo is going to be the first to give his presentation, and then Dr. Monica Maisimo, who is going to follow after Dr. Mzalendo. In addition to this, to the two guest speakers, we have a slight change of the program, that we're going to include Dr. Abdallah Sey as one of our speakers during this session, in addition to those who are already in the program. So without ado, let us begin the presentation of Dr. Mzalendo. Mzalendo, we welcome you to the floor.
Thank you. Thank you,
Give us
Chair,
a presentation.
and
Thank you. Before you start, let me invite Dr. Muriungi to come so that he can help me take the notes.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you, the guest of honor of this conference, Dr. Beatrice Uganda Inyagala, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Higher Education, Professor Odhiambo, and the Vice Chancellor. I'm very, very grateful, and also on my behalf and on behalf of the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, let me say that and also express my gratitude to the Ministry of Education. For some few months ago, when we started the discussion about this conference, as we reached some level, we saw a very serious disruption, just like COVID-19. The professor was and ceremoniously kicked out of this university. And my good professor, so I asked my friend, so what will happen in the conference? So within our time, and I also want to thank the students of this community and the community. That's when I saw a big demonstration in Meru, not like the ones which happened in Nairobi, of a people's professor being escorted to the university, and that is actually the listening government said, I think this professor is a people's professor, and that's actually from that day I never call him Modiabo, I call him people's professor. Let us appreciate it, and let us appreciate each other for that, and the ministry for it, because if we were not here, I don't think we could be meeting here, and I think that is what we call democracy, listening to the people. They listen to the people, and that is why we are converging. I'm very grateful for that. And all the team, the Dean Kiringai, the chair, Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellors, the students. Let me start by expressing my sincerest gratitude to the fraternity of Meru University for extending this invitation for me to speak in this very important conference. I'm not going to make a presentation because I was not given a guidance on how I'm going to do it, but allow me just to speak, just like any other guest. Secondly, I want to applaud the management under the leadership of the professor and the council for this effort in weaving the partnership you have herewith mentioned, including for us as the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, which has made it possible to bring us together under this really timely theme of leveraging interlinkages among the SDGs to realize 2030 agenda through research and innovation in the post-COVID era. Such really a suitable theme. COVID-19 was and remains one of the most disruptive moments in memorable times, and I think everyone has spoken about it. In addition to changing the way we do things, it tested the tenacity of our institutions and made us to change our cultures and attitudes. You remember at the height of it, no one would even greet each other. We were just waving, even in the churches, which we, as a Catholic, even now we have not reverted to the way we used to greet each other. The ability of the global community to mobilize resources for vaccine development and reconstruction within record time and no precedent. The lesson learned then from this global collaboration, and like what we are doing here, is that in times of crisis, humanity can come together, rally together, and defeat any challenge, however seemingly unsurmountable. What's required is solidarity, backed by political will. I'm saying that because I'm in a space which really, every time we are struggling about raising resources to adapt to the impacts of climate change and to mitigate, because this is one of the biggest challenges we are fighting. And what we are saying every time, we have no money. But we saw during the COVID-19, mobilizing trillions and trillions of dollars within record time, and within that time, 3 months we had a vaccine. So if there was really a challenge, is money is no problem, but where do we get that money, and whose pocket is that money? So ladies and gentlemen, I have drawn your attention to this pandemic and the global response, because this is what is required to achieve the Agenda 2030. And as Dr. has said, we have only 7 months, 7 years. As you will definitely agree with me, made some of us very, very restless. Less than 7 years to 2030 today, there is widespread consternation on whether the 169 targets of the 17 goals will be met within the 90 remaining months. We are actually now 90 months, 6 months, and 7 years, or 2,700 or so days. In addition to COVID-19, we are grappling with multiple other global crises of monumental proportions, such as inequality, biodiversity loss, deepening middle debt, and the Ukraine-Russia war. Above all this is climate change, which we work on a daily basis, which poses existential threats not only to the survival of humanity, but also to ecosystems and the health of the planet upon which all organisms, including us, plants and animals, drive their livelihoods. And that is why I'm here today, and the reason for joining the partnership for this conference. Goal 13 of the SDGs seeks to combat climate change and all its impacts. The impacts we can feel everywhere we see, everyone can feel it. We can observe it and confront it every day. I normally tell people coming from this community, when in my childhood, when I was just the age of my 7 years daughter here, I was swimming in small potholes in my village. You know, and we were not bothered about even lunch during those. It's very nostalgic. We could go during lunch hour, and while we are swimming there, and when I went back actually to Nairobi, I was not taught swimming in the swimming pools because I was already learned that. I can assure you that those potholes are no longer. So I've seen climate changing just in my lifetime. You have seen it manifested by, you know, shifting seasons, you know, drying, you know, withering crops. You know, in Mount Kenya, when we used to, we were growing up here, we wake up very early in the morning, look at Kirimara. You know, it was white matters in Mount Kenya. It has vanished, you know. All the rivers, actually, some research has been done across Mount Kenya. 19 rivers have dried up. And the impact of that, you know, is very vivid. And it is actually economical. You know, most people, even now, look at climate change as an isolated environment and a scientific issue. It is a real economic issue. Let me tell you why, for instance. So if those rivers in Aberdares and Mount Kenya dry up, the impact of that is that we drive our, and before then, before we tapped into geothermal, all our energy was coming from the Seven Forks dams, driving its river from rivers. So what happened out of that? After drying of those rivers, then there is no sufficient water to drive those turbines. And what is the impact of that? Industrial area where we get our energy to drive our industries, there is no energy. So the impact of that then is that there is no productivity, or we rely on IPP, independent power producers, to get energy. So it makes the production very expensive, and that is fed to the consumers and the economy. So if you look at that, you follow that value chain, you are going to discover that everything has its impact and the job losses. So we are not able to connect that, and that is why, as the organization, we want really to demystify and connect interconnectedness of all these issues so that you are able to live within the context which we find ourselves today. So buoyed by Goal 17, Partnership for the Goals, PACTA's cardinal principle is building collaborations at all levels, that is vertical and horizontal, since we believe that defeating poverty and achieving sustainable goals, and particularly for us in Kenya, that is the National Sustainable Poverty and Reduction and Sustainable Development Blueprint, that is Vision 2030. We are not going to achieve that if we don't build this enduring partnership. We need really to come together as individuals, as institutions, as we are doing, as a country, as a region, or a sector. We cannot do it alone. A new thinking, paradigm shift,
on enabling systemic transformation of our economies through deep collaboration and shared purpose should be an essential element on where we want to go. Yet another emerging and obviously compelling conversation on whether the current top-down exclusive model of doing things will deliver us to the zenith we desire, or should there be another way of doing things on the basis of the SDGs, as is leaving no one behind. And I think I like when every time the president talking about the bottom up. But are we able to deal with that? In our context, we talk about locally led climate action and actions which really driven by the people. Just last week, I was in Bonn, Germany, attending the Global Climate Conference. And we were actually a powerful delegation from the government of Kenya, dedicated to the reflections of the implementation of the Paris Agreement, which was adopted in the same period with the Agenda 2030. Across the border, world leaders, including our own, President William Ruto, was attending the summit for a new global financing pact, which, as you may know, has divided observers on whether it will not be another futile effort with such flowery language, and actually the president alluded to that, and joining others before it into the dustbin of history, because we have a lot of policies. Go to the Ministry of Education, go to the Ministry of Environment. In the planning, we have actually the blueprints, our Vision 2030. But do we really implement that? The problem is implementation, because the question is whether we have the means. So the point here is there are many other conversations going on at all levels, and at the local level here, for instance, but this is not local, this is international, and thank you very much for that. All pointing to a broken system which we need to repair. The current model of development has failed, ladies and gentlemen. The current financial system is irreparably broken. We need reforms on it. We cannot let just few individuals and democratic institutions like the World Bank and IMF determine what we need to live. And I agree with the president. We really need transformation on this institution, and they need drastic reforms. Our modes of consumption and production and return to fossil fuels is also no longer an option. As Pagja, we belong to the school of thought that believes that incremental reforms and fragmented solutions, however genuine they may be, will never sufficiently meet the challenges we face. We should thus urgently adapt our economic and political systems in the most fundamental way. How this will be done should be questions which should be answered by us when we meet in such conferences, because it is their own where we have always earned solutions. Let me turn then back attention to the context with which we are operating and handle this conference. This conference takes place barely 2 months to the Africa Climate Summit, which is going to be hosted by President Ruto as the chair of the African Union's Committee of Heads of State and Governments on Climate Change. It is in September 4th to 6th. And we are really having conversation on whether that will not be another jamboree altogether. So this was done just a few months after the election of the new government. So we are happy that the president has joined us as one of the most critical voices in global geopolitical interactions to exert pressure on those who bear the biggest responsibility on the climate crisis to honor their commitments to not only take drastic action, but also help victims of their actions like us, smallholder farmers, with which this community was. We will continue to work with His Excellency as the chair of CAOSCO. Now I'm not speaking as a Mithika, you know, from Meru. I'm now speaking as the executive director of the Pan-African and Climate Justice, the movement of Pan-Africans, which we invite you. We will amplify our voices in all the arena coming in our way. In this spirit of partnership, we are cultivating at all levels. Already, geostrategic interest seems to be conspiring against progress made in climate commitments, especially even what Kenya signed under the Paris Agreement called the NDCs, National Determined Contributions, the sectoral, investment tools, which in the Ministry of Agriculture, we are saying what we are going to do as a country to adapt to the changing climate, building resilience of farmers, the pastoralist, and some of the innovations which we have seen here actually falls within that. How to contextualize that in this then is very, very important, and that's the conversations which we need to have. So what are these? Notable forces of this conference should be alive to is, number one, the Russia, and I think some of my earlier colleagues have spoken about it, the Russian war that continued to imply the ability of the European countries to meet their energy goals. And I'll not so much elaborate on this because it is out of that that we have a problem of climate change. Two, growing global hunger, which we are observing all of us, and largely informed by collapse of food supply systems, partly due to this war, but largely in the context of Africa, due to the growing frequency of extreme climate events, occasion crop failure, and massive livestock loss. We are told by last year, we had lost 2.5 million livestock in arid and semi-arid areas. Such a large number, and you can also just imagine of the impact it has on our economies. Overall, global emissions are going up, and this is directly contributing to global temperatures going up at unprecedented level. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, this scientist body which deals with climate change, the assessment report 6, report has aptly captured the challenge. Africa will be impacted under all emission scenarios, and they should worry every scientist and prompt for scaling the pact of scientific solutions at our disposal. And the scientists here, I think you have a really enormous challenge to this end. When we talk about scientists, actually we think about very far people. It is us here. And we have seen solutions coming from our communities and our innovation. So this conference must be part of the discussions to explore collective measures to cushion populations suffering from the severest form of cyclic waves of losses and damages that continue to impede their ability to meet their basic needs. The Global Climate Change Conference in Dubai, coming up later in the year, will happen in a very difficult geopolitical context. And curiously, there are indications that the host country, which is an oil producer, is really pushing to us to another direction. Just last week, we had the COP president, Sultan Al-Jaber, who was here. And if you listen at what he is talking about, it's not really the needs of the people. And he invited us to his meeting, we declined, because we have rejected his presiding over this conference, because how can you put sheep in front of leopards? That is what we said. Whereas this is a scientific conference, means of implementing climate mandate should not be lost in the dialogue process, and must explore collaborations that support scaling funding, including to research efforts and innovations in universities and tertiary institutions. And I think, PS, when you are going around, you see those innovations. The question actually which we were asking ourselves, how do we scale up that? Because some of these, pilots will just end there. We need resources. I can guarantee you the government of Kenya has so much challenges and that's why actually the international communities and the collaborations come in. The Kenyan government can put all what it can, but within our limits, we are really constrained. And some of the challenges which have made these constraints are global in nature. So we need really to put pressure for those who have the money. As I've said, where did they get money to address COVID-19? Is because they were being impacted. So climate change does not impact them. And that's why we are saying, you actually being mean And we need really to continue with these collaborations, and that's where we are now. As PAGJA, we associate fully with this conference on leveraging interlinkages among the SDGs to realize the 2030 agenda through research and innovations in the post-COVID era. We believe this is the right thing to do, and it should be done to scale, not only in Kenya, but across Africa, with a view of strengthening Africa's research capacity and its ability to premise its narratives in global dialogue processes. The problem which we have, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are regarded as tabula rasa, that we do not have ideas. Our universities are just actually, like software, but they are limited in resources. If we put resources into this, and some countries actually set aside as much as 1%, 2% of their budget to research. The COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine, which I took, was developed by Oxford University and some other, private sector actors. You can see the role of universities. Innovations is the key for the future. But Africa also has got that fair share of innovations. We are not that tabula rasa. Look at the M-Pesa. Who invented it? It is actually one of the best things to happen in the world. It is all over the world. It was just invented by a young person at the lakes. But because we do not have, proper intellectual property rights, the innovations, and I think, peers, that's what we need to be working about. These young people have a lot of innovations, but because they do not have a way to protect themselves, then it is stolen by corporates. You can see a company, and I'm not, against that company, and I don't want to name it, but I feel a lot of pain that they are minting billions, whereas that young man is languishing somewhere. It is not right. We need really intellectual property rights to protect these innovations for these young people, because they can make a livelihood out of it. I can assure you, I've seen many of them doing that. So we need really to look into that. As I conclude then, allow me on behalf of PAGJA, and I'm not very critical, to reassure of our unwavering support to the partnership with MUST, including the discussion to establish the Institute for Climate Change and Adaptation. We take note. And before that, actually, I want to mention that we are very keen on really the Ministry of Environment taking the lead. If we want to take this conversation on climate, because we are living in a completely different, world, where the transition to low carbon, climate resilient future is inevitable. We are moving, where I was last week in Netherlands, I took a taxi, it was an electric taxi. In Norway, 67% of the cars on the road are electric. Everything, the price of renewables has crashed. So what does that tell you? The development and the economies of the future. We have to position. You want the president now has proclaimed himself. He wants now even all these borders for us to be really to go electric. Even if we stay in our own context here, the world is changing. So we have to shift with the world. Because those cars now in Norway and those others, because even these ones which we drive, most of them are second-hand cars. So even if we don't want to shift, we are going to shift. We don't shape the world economy, but we want to do that. And so we want to, and actually we are working with the ministry, and working with a number of your directors, and we are really trying to see how we can replicate some of the initiatives which we have been doing to really entrench this climate education. Others, in fact, it is an area of study now in universities and even at very basic level, so that when children are growing, they grow knowing that there are changes which are inevitable. And so next week, actually, we are going to be hosting one of the best initiatives which we have been doing, the Nairobi Summer School on Climate Justice, which brings together the entire almost 73 countries' representatives at Kenyatta University. And in future, we are going to also see how we can work with other universities and broaden it, not only in Kenya, but even at African level. We are already actually agreed on that, and in fact, it is only that I'm here. We could have ended a meeting at the ministry so that we can discuss. I think we can try to see. We are being practical, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about really where you are. It's, you know, we stay and see how these collaborations can help our people, because that is the most important thing. And this institute, and we were discussing with the professor, and that's why I was very sad before he was returned by the people that now he was leaving, because we had really advanced discussion on institutes of climate justice and culture. Tap into the Meru culture of Njoricheke and see what it really brings into this, because some of the ideas are actually coping mechanisms on climate change, which we are doing. So on this institution, in this regard, we want to strengthen research and really build on what you have done, utilize our international linkages to bring more partners, and let me assure you that PAGJA will continue to be a permanent feature in this moving forward. We will also carry out long-term monitoring of ecosystems by documenting changes in biodiversity and ecosystems. And this is actually, I saw the lady who, that presentation, very innovative by the director. And actually, I wanted to ask Professor, and I think the authority of the PS, during that Nairobi Summer School on Climate Justice, I think it's a very good selling moment for all those. Please, can you bring this Lindy to present that Kenya to, during that, and I think you'll see it is very, very, you know, they need to see really that Kenya, because sometimes there are so many negative things coming out of our country, but you can see very good things. And thank you very much. I think, and you can see when putting that together, I really liked the presentation. Thank you. So we also need to do researching on income inequalities as a result of climate change. I think we have all what it takes, and that's why we are very excited that we are working with this university. I got an invitation from Kem also doing such a thing. I think we need to see how we can have a unified way of working. We also need capacity development on various issues. And ladies and gentlemen, we pledge to commit both technical persons and the exposure opportunities that will better equip the Institute to deliver in this mandate. As I conclude again, I know we'll be joined by your Dean of Students during that event. And because I'm touched by what you are doing now, we have the presentation on what is Kenya, which has come out of these innovations. We'll pick also 5 students from MUST to really participate in that summit. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mwenda Mithika, for the exciting discussion and presentation that you've given us. I think if it is right, we could have 1 or 2 comments or anything that anybody would want Mwenda to clarify. I open the session. Good. I think we can, yes, Dr. Kubai, yes? Dr. Mwenda Mithika, we just requesting them if there is anything that they require you to clarify. There is a comment by Dr. Patrick Kubai. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity. Mine is to thank Dr. Mithika Msalendo, first of all, for seeing it fit to work with Meru University. And now that he originates from this area, for thinking of setting the Institute of Climate Change in this university. That will be a breakthrough in demystifying the many issues which exist in our community. Because in this community, majority of people think that climate change is not an issue, And we didn't have a lot of dependence from donors or anybody, but for now, the effect of climate change is a reality. So thank you very much. Mine is just to appreciate this lecture on behalf of each and everyone. I think we are going to work together and bring people from the ground to really demystify climate change and also present what really works for this community during those hard times of climate change. Thank you.
At this juncture, I want all of us to really appreciate Dr. Mwenda Mithika for the good presentation that he's given us. He has set the ball rolling for us in this conference. And thank you very much, Dr. Mwenda, for giving us those insights about the impacts of climate change and how we can work and around it and deal with it so that it can be of some benefit to humanity. In addition to that, and to continue with our scientific communication, allow me to call upon our next guest speaker, Dr. Monica Maichomo, who is a director in Ministry of Livestock, Agriculture and Livestock, to give us his presentation. Thank you. Daktari, karibu.
So, the chief guest, Madam Beatrice, the PS, the council chair, the university management and the community, all guests and all protocols observed. Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Dr. Monica Maichomo. I work in Carlo, and I am delighted to be part of this great forum of great people. And when I flipped through the presentation, I thought it was very wonderful and part of what I wanted to belong to. So I am grateful to give a brief presentation. I also acknowledge that it was like an open check, so I tried to align a bit to the conference theme, and there along I tried to align my presentation, which I am going to bring to you today, on realization that we are different partners, different organizations, addressing challenges that affect all of us in this nation, but in different ways. Some of the ways are overlapping or they converge. And for us as Carlo, we have a great interaction with the academia, because when your students are going either for research, they have the need to fulfill the university requirements for attachment, and also we are hosting some of the MSc students. And therefore, we provide an opportunity to foster the talents that is vested in this nation among our great young people that we are all trying to mentor together. So I see it as an opportunity for linkages and synergy, including with our private partners. So I want to briefly just let the participants know who is Carlo and what it is, and what is our relevance in this agenda that we are discussing today. So I just broadly thought in my mind just to bring to your attention about research in agricultural development and the case of Carlo. And I just want to let you know that Carlo is a big institution, and I come from one of the, it's a big organization, but I come from one of the institutions that's dealing with veterinary research. I just hope you are able to see. So my focus is on the agricultural sector, and I know that we are familiar with these numbers about the contribution to the GDP. We can see the figures there for 2021, and about the linkages of agriculture with our industries, and the fact that agriculture is a driver in the Kenya's economy and its great impact in livelihood. So we ask ourselves a question about the relevance of research and development in terms of leveraging this agricultural sector. So we are aware about Carlo mandate is to contribute to growth in this sector by generating and disseminating appropriate technologies. We are talking about here about technologies, about innovations, just to help our farmers to increase the productivity, but also beyond the productivity, also the efficiency of the processes, including the services offered along the different agricultural value chains. So we are obligated to provide demand-driven solutions to the agricultural challenges, and in partnership with local, regional, and international communities or like-minded people in a participatory manner. So, as a sector in agricultural research, we are aware of the significant contribution to rural development and some of the impact indicators we will want to interrogate to measure ourselves is about productivity in terms of the efficient use of the resources that are at our disposal, and how the gains of the increased productivity, how do they benefit or impact the community, because without that, then the relevance is diminished. And also the big question about sustainability. The previous speaker has talked a lot about the climate change, so the environment within which we operate, and all of us are here because we are convinced about the great gains, the return to investment on investing in research and development, and for this case, agricultural sector. So I think everybody now is talking about the transformative agriculture, because we need to do things different. So the innovations, the era of the startups is here with us now. So for Carlo, we are focusing on the agricultural strategy and transformative agriculture transformative strategy 2019 and 2099, from which the current strategic plan is drawn. And therefore we have a vision of excellence in agriculture, including livestock research towards transformed livelihoods. And therefore our mission is to conduct agricultural research through application of science, technology, and innovation to catalyze sustainable growth and development in the agriculture and livestock product value chains. So as we can see here, Carlo has a lot of impact in terms of our geographic distribution. If you want to access any Carlo centers through any of our counties, our presence and our footprints are big, as we can see here. And the organization of Carlo, we have an overall Director General for secretarial and organizational administrative issues, but we have the implementation of the research in the institutions. So I come from one of them, and that is what I want to bring to your attention. Great people in this forum. I want to bring to you what we do at the Veterinary Research Institute because it is an important part and parcel. We have been told about what we experienced last year, where we lost about 2.5 million animals because of the vagaries of nature, the extreme climate, which was actually beyond our control. And it was very sad actually to see our farmers losing their source of livelihood. So at the Veterinary Research Institute, our mandate within Carlo and within the country is actually to address challenges of animal health in nature, to develop technologies which can actually alleviate the suffering of our people by developing technologies that can improve on the delivery of health to our animals. And this we work together with production, because a healthy animal is also, the productivity of an animal is actually a function of two things. It is a function of how well fed it is, and also how healthy it is. So our institution is located in Kiambu County, and where it's quarantine. If you visit our institution, these are some of the features you are going to see in highlights of central Kenya, and the location is such that to facilitate establishment and maintenance of quarantine. Why do we talk about quarantine? Because we deal with infectious diseases. We stock pathogens that can, once in a while, if not properly kept, can escape to the community. And because we are surrounded by communities who are also keeping animals, and we have isolates in our laboratories, which we do manipulations to study diseases. So we also need to ensure issues of proper biosafety and biosecurity to protect the workers as well as the farming community. So to bridge, we are all addressing, while we address our challenge or our mandate in animal health, we are, as a country, addressing the high demand for food. And we also know the population growth, the climate variability, and this comes along. Even when the 2.5 million animals died, we had also realized as the custodians of animal health about the serious challenges in disease outbreaks. So that also brings in the aspect of pests and diseases. So our research within Carlo, you can see what we are addressing these challenges, and anyone in this room will be able to identify with this about the climate change affecting both the livestock, and you have seen either one or the other of these scenarios, the mass animal deaths in the northern frontier, the pastoral ecosystems, even the smallholder farmers were also affected. You will either see the drying crops in our farms, or animal death, that the carcasses are littered, the animals scrabbling for limited water resources, and also these scenarios of diseases in the different animal species that we deal with. And therefore, we realize that we have to address the increased frequency of droughts and floods, outbreaks of diseases. So the issue of the climate smart agriculture, so how do we address this? No one outfit can sustainably address this, and the reason I am happy that we are discussing the same problem, the same thing as different arms, and therefore we can be able to synergize one another. So we address the different value chains. For Carlo, we describe them as either the lead meat, which includes the cattle, the sheep, and the goats. We also talk, our research actually is value chain categorized, including the dairy. Dairy, we are talking of either the dairy cattle, we have the camel there, because it is important in our camel keeping communities, and also the poultry, the indigenous poultry, or even the exotic poultry. Those are powerful value chains. So we also realize that as a policy, we we need to change our way of doing things. And I think lies, I was really enjoying the description of lies, because we realized that we have a number of technologies that could actually address some of the problems we are dealing with, but we have a weakness in terms of extension, in terms of creation of awareness, and so that's a policy change that we are addressing as Carlo, and I am happy to hear about what Meru University is doing. I am happy to hear about what PACJA has said, their vision and their mission. So I see some points of convergence there. Also, not to ignore that our farmers have also inherited, we still have some components of indigenous knowledge that come in handy, and also it has been realized about, because we are talking about if our research, our problem-solving situations do not inclusive the vulnerable and the marginalized groups, who are either maybe the women, the youth, who do a lot of work on our farms, but they are not included. They are actually many times excluded, maybe in decision making. So those are the policy shifts or ways of doing things that we are trying to understand. So our research themes, we carry out our research in terms of animal health. We address different thematic areas, and this is drawn from the mission of to contribute to increasing productivity and commercialization. The key here is about competitiveness of our livestock sector. So our different thematic areas, they are very specific. So for animal health to address those challenges, we want to address the program of vaccines and drugs, also to improve on our diagnostics, and also disease control. We have a very important area here that has been mentioned, post-COVID-19. We are now talking about pandemics and how to resolve them, about emerging and re-emerging diseases. So we have a thematic area on zoonosis and food safety, including the socioeconomics. How do we apply all this knowledge that we gather so that it can inform policy? So on the vaccines, the thematic area, just want to bring to your attention that we have made some gains as Carlo, and improving on what has been done there in the past. So just in case you are not aware, I just want to bring to your attention that we have been addressing some of the key diseases in our livestock value chains. So some of the vaccines that we have been recorded. If you go to our Carlo website, you'll be able to see more of this information. East Coast fever is a disease, as you hear the description. East Coast fever, it is a disease that is resident in the East African region. So a vaccine is there. So what Carlo does, it's the only facility that does the production and the delivery of the same, so that we can help our farmers, where especially those who are bordering the national parks. Our biggest problem in regard to this is along the buffalo corridors. Yes, and then we have what we call the goat plague on the PPR vaccine. What we are doing, we have a conventional vaccine, but our efforts by Carlo to thermostabilize this product, because we realize it's a big problem in our northern frontier. It's heavily cold chain dependent, but to improve on the delivery, if it can be thermostabilized such that it can be used at the room temperature within a defined time frame of, like, let's say 7 days, then that can make the delivery easier. And then we talk about, we have, I think I had somebody, a director in charge of, I think, is it bioinformatics? So we are also adopting the technology of developing subunit vaccines. So if you will realized that we are working on a subunit vaccine. The cattle pneumonia or the cattle plague is a big problem, and those of you who come from Laikipia, those who come from Isiolo and the like, last year from 2021 we have had a big challenge of outbreak in CBPP, and we know the control strategy. People cannot sell most of the lunches. They were quarantined. They could not trade. So we are working on a subunit CBPP vaccine, that's contagious bovine pneumonia, and that can really improve on controlling that disease. The beauty with that is that it can be used and the animals also not be restricted to access the market. And also other products like mastitis, including the goat plague, that's what we call contagious capillary pneumonia, among other diseases. Maybe if I can just mention them, like the poultry keepers, we have important diseases. If I can call them by their common names, we call gubolo, and I don't know what we call the Newcastle disease by common terms, but those are things that are known by poultry keepers. So we realize that even when we have all these products, some of them are complete, others are just the traditional vaccines, that we need to improve on the delivery system. So the understanding in terms of diagnostic these days, the thinking globally is that we need to work on rapid tests, which can be used on as penside. In hospitals, they call the point of use diagnostics. So we are also trying to venture into use of nanotechnology so that we can improve on the existing diagnostic tests where they have high specificity, high sensitivity, and improve reduce the possibility of false positive and false negatives, and improve on the certainty of diagnostics, because sometimes you are not sure whether when a test turns positive, is it a true positive or something like that. So in terms of disease control, we have participatory approaches, working with the farmers in the field to prioritize what is their priorities. And this is in line with the mandate areas of the Directorate of Veterinary Services. For us research, we support them. And in terms of packaging, in terms of supporting their surveillance at different levels. And for this, we also realize, especially in the era of emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases and pandemics, also trying to map the different isolates that we have so that even the diagnostics can be quite specific, because we realize some of the maybe the diagnostics kit we bring into the country, and I'm very happy what Pakja has said about homegrown solutions, especially for poultry diseases. You realize that maybe even some of the vaccines which are imported strains, they are not compatible, and that has brought an issue of our farmers failing to adopt some of the very good technologies that are available. So working with farmers, with extension people, to train them on how to deliver these products, whether they are vaccines, or how to adopt the diagnostics effectively. A big challenge that we are also having in the livestock sector or in the food safety area is about the big challenge of antimicrobial use because of the indiscriminate use. So it is just to map where the resistance is, which value chains are more affected than the others, which nodes of the value chain are the most likely to intervene, and with some of the priority areas, like you'll hear discussion about the methicillin resistance, Staphylococcus aureus, which is very common among within the food products from livestock. And therefore we also do promote promotion of management practices, because most of this is just about implementation. It's about enforcing the the requirements, the recommendations on how to use the drugs, and also to enhance our biosafety and biosecurity concerns in the intensive production, especially among the monogastrics. I am referring to the pig and also the poultry because those are fast-moving food products. Therefore, if we can address most of the challenges there, then we can be able to deliver food that is safe to our consumers, and also addressing beyond that, other means of addressing the antimicrobial resistance. We have alternatives to antibiotics. They are used elsewhere. They are used in a limited scale in our country. They are what we call the probiotics as immunomodulators is what is really gaining ground now. So all these we are discussing among the One Health platform, which actually brings the animal health workers, the environmentalists, including the human health, together to resolve the challenges that affect our people. So the current issues that we are seeking or we think that are relevant to us in this conference, on this symposium, all across the globe at national, regional, and international levels, as has been alluded before, collaboration. It's about synergies. And one of the big things that, as Carlo, I'm sure you've seen it, it's about the big data platform, because we have a lot of data, a lot of research data lying in the shelves that has been done in the past, but has not been packaged into products which can be accessed by the extension people or even by our consumers. So we are addressing the issue of the data analytics, the content digitization. I think if you go to our website, you'll be able to see even the food and the livestock crop and food and livestock suitability maps. If you are from the northern Kenya, if you are from Meru, you can just be able to interact with those platforms, and you can be able to get very specific data on what is suitable for your area, and even add-ins in terms of how to go about that. Very interactive platforms. So I think perhaps that's what I want to bring to your attention, and also to say that this issue of technology transfer, because technology exists somewhere, that has been developed maybe by those who have the money, but the need here to fast track. We are talking about transformative agriculture. We are talking about disruption of the way we do things, about technology transfer, but also to adapt to our local situation. So capacity building, we appreciate very much our interactions, and so we realize that we can do a lot of things. We can shorten our processes when we interact, when we synergize one another, and therefore for more information for you to know and to understand what is available within the Carlo, I refer you to the Carlo website that can help you to know more. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monica Maisimo, for the strong and insightful presentation that you've shared with us today. And please let us appreciate her again strongly for the very good presentation she's made. And if we've got any comments, please bring them forward. Good. We will take only one comment because we're running short of time.
Thank you, Dr. Monica, for the great presentation and giving us an insight on what Carlo is doing here internally to develop vaccines and other therapeutic intervention. So my question goes to the vaccination that was developed for East Coast fever. And I know there are about 3 that you developed. There is Muguga 5, there is Kiambu, and there is a third one, I've forgotten. But these vaccines are always therapeutic vaccines. They are not vaccines, or they're therapeutic vaccines because you inject the parasite, that's Stellaria parva, to the animal, and now you administer antibiotics to now elicit the immune response to the animal. But most of these vaccines, all of these vaccines are not suitable or are not long-lasting because, yes, the animal can be vaccinated, but still when East Coast fever comes, they are affected and they die in their masses. So what are you doing as an institute to correct this, or maybe come up with a better vaccine that would be more helpful and long-lasting?
Thank you. I felt as if it was more of a comment, and I believe Dr. Monica Maisimo has taken into consideration of what you've said. And because we're running short of time, we're going to, I'll move it back to the director so that he can give us a direction from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. There is so much to learn, but the time is small. So because of time, we want to end this session there. And I want to invite Professor Torenera to invite the VC so that we could do the next session.
Thank you. We have a session, the last one before lunch, and we want to give the following gifts. I request our public relations officer to approach with the gifts and guide. And then chief guest, we have also Meru Central Dairy Farmers Cooperative Union. I don't know where they are here. They are donating some milk to the university and the chief guests. So also approach here quickly, because this is the last session before we break for lunch. As they do that, we want to appreciate Dr. Medeka Musalendo for the gifts of 5 students to visit the summer school in KU. We also appreciate the fact that you have allowed Dr. Marete and Dr. Mugambi to attend the summer school. Sarah, when you are ready, the VC is ready. Sarah Gatwiri, Vice Chancellor. Mary Asunta, quickly, please.
We'd like to give a gift to Dr. Beatrice.
As our chief guest comes, I would like to call our chair of council to hand over the gift to our chief guest. And Dr. we are very proud of you. I know she's traveled from Nairobi and arrived here at 3 a.m. So Ajalala, and may God bless you. May God bless you.
With our greatest appreciation, we are proud to honor you, Dr. Beatrice, the chief guest. The Meru University of Science and Technology family highly appreciates you and your time and the knowledge during this second most international conference. We love you. Thank you.
Congratulations. tell you, say you can never be the one. But God say, make I tell you, say now you him choose in 1 month, in 1 week. You will sing a new song in 2 days, lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you, and you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise.
As most family love you as our mom, and we want to appreciate you today for having spent a lot of time with us and being with us and for your support. And we pray that you continue to be with us and continue to support us as we forge forward. Thank you very much.
Our good, sincere colleagues and friends.
We appreciate you, Mwenda, for not just being a presenter today and our guest, but also being our sponsor in this second most international conference. Your generosity is humbling and inspiring. Thank you for supporting Meru University family.
God is good. That I can never be a
Keynote speaker. So you have 2 gifts. Come back. Come we take picture. You know we knew him through you. Okay. And the girl is here, beautiful girl. How are you? 50 years you'll be a vice chancellor. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Monica, our friend Dr. Monica from Cairo.
Dr. Monica, the Meru University of Science and Technology family highly appreciates your time and available knowledge during this second most international conference. Thank you very much.
Professor Caroline Kobia from Mississippi State University, US.
Professor Caroline Kobia, we are honored to have you today to represent your international university in this most international conference. We thank you for your time and for your valuable knowledge during this second most international conference. We appreciate you.
Cornelius Chamge. This guy, I met him, is mainly based in Finland, and you're such a great friend. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Cornelius Kiplangat, we thank you and we appreciate you as the Moose family. We highly appreciate your time and your presence during this most international conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is that all? That's all. Okay. Is there something? Meru Central, Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya, where are you? Yes, we work very closely with quite a number of stakeholders, and Mount Kenya really is one of those sincere friends. We do a lot of things, even the SDGs shows and the research, and I'm happy you are here. I don't know what you want to talk to us. We are requesting the chair of the council also to join us.
We appreciate and we appreciate your coming. Our work is to commercialize the innovations that you have seen. Currently on our table we are doing lactose-free yogurt for those guys who are lactose intolerant. We are also commercializing probiotic yogurt, and on our research and development table we are doing research on protein harvesting. So we are with you, and that is why we come to get some talents, ideas and things, and then we move on to the market. Madam PS, we have some organic yogurt from our farm, from our farmers and from our chairman. There is one for the VC.
Vincent.
There is one for the chairman of the council.
That's chair of council. Where's Mercy?
There is another one for the DVC. Where is Madam Monica? She is the cow one. She likes cow. Where is Madam Monica? She told us for the animals, garbage in, garbage out. I should not forget her. When nimesahau mkuja factory, there is plenty. Sindio? Thank you very much.
I call him.
Yes, Kome.
From.
No. This guy.
Mr. Kome, isn't it? Yeah, Kome. Mr. Kome. Marango. Thank you for coming. How are you? So where? Sorry, a bit disorganized, but we are catching up. I'm sorry. Thank you for understanding. Thank you, Kome. Asante.
Thank you very much, Madam Peers, the Chair of the Council, our Vice Chancellor. My name is Julius Kome. I'm the Regional International Institute Control Council, currently called National Epidemic Disease Control Council, and actually I'll be joining this university in the September. You remember you enticed me to come when I talked about condoms to you. You remember when I under, and he told me I never touched condom, and I won, and you are. So in HIV we have our mouth is loose. We are not shy, eh? So given a chance, I would have talked to you what he told me, huh? Thank you very much. I have we work very closely with National Cancer Institute, so I have IAC materials there. And I attended a presentation yesterday on health, global ending epidemics, and I realized that the researchers were using some data that require some updating. So perhaps we need to establish an app with National Control Council, NASCOP, so that we can have an updated data. We have so much data outside there with NASCOP, with National Cancer Institute. It's just here. We need to bring it here. Sirio, thank you very much.
So our Dean Sky, data analytics, here's something open for you. You can pick it immediately. There are many guests. We apologize that you have not been given a gift, but I hope you understand. There's always next time. We are proud of you. We love you guys. Thank you for being with us. Madam PS, Mungu akubariki. Thank you for your time. And our chair, our boss, may God bless you. We are proud of you as our mom. Thank you very much. I think with that, I'll hand over to the organizers. Thank you. Our chief guest has a function back in the office at around 4. So he'll have to fly. And so when you see her leave, you guys will continue being around. We have conference after tomorrow. It will end at around 5. Thank you.
Thank you very much, VC, DVC, our chief guest, our council chair. Now we end this session. We want to proceed for lunch. Our main guests are going to be invited at the Innovation Center, and all our other guests are going to be directed where we will also take our lunch. After this, we are going to do our breakout sessions for the various themes that are set. So let's all stay tuned. Let's break for lunch and then come back in the afternoon in about 30 minutes. Thank you.